Dear faithful communicators, in the field of communication studies, most scholars assume God is absent. Either God is silent or God is unlistenable. You can't hear God. Or perhaps God is so weak that God can't even break through the noise. In any case, there's no role of God's communication within human communication. So we don't need to attend to God. God has no speech agency. What about that? Well, the result is a kind of system so that people study human communication apart from God, as if human communication exists in its own system. And if we can just master all the factors in this little system, we can be really good communicators. Because all that matters is these human factors, these humanly controllable factors. Now, there may be in some of these systems in communication studies one little box that says, and all other factors. I call it the Wiesel box. Because human communication is so complex, there are always these Wiesel factors we don't understand. But what if it's not just Wiesel factor? What if God speaks? And God's speech in human lives and human culture makes a difference. Then the field of human communication studies has a real problem to address. Well, we know that we have a creator God, a God who in the beginning used speech to create. In some ways, difficult for us to understand, God as creator is the speech creator. He can speech things into existence. And we also know we have the Word made flesh, Jesus Christ, who is able to, in this world, incarnate, speak things into existence, make things happen through speech, heal people, get people to listen, bring people into relationship. And finally, we have a conscience as human beings. There's something deep inside us that leads us to think that we should communicate in certain ways and not communicate in other ways. We all have this. And what it really comes down to, I think, is how we feel in our hearts as human beings about whether or not God exists. And if God exists, God is alive and well and influencing human communication. It's the heart that's so difficult to understand. Why is it that God might give some people a kind of heart to recognize that God exists and God speaks and God teaches and God calls and God redeems, and other people don't have the heart for that? I don't know. But I think we can say, for those of us who are followers of Jesus Christ in the field of communication studies, we have to be open to the fact that it's not a closed system, that human communication also is entered into by God. And so we have to provide the space, if you will, we have to be hospitable to the role of God in communication studies. Shalom.